Imagine getting your very first Tesla ever. The power, the tech, the electric future. But what's it really like going from gas to EV? Meet my neighbors, Sue and Ed, first time Tesla owners who got the limited edition 2026 refresh Model Y with all the extras. Did it live up to the hype? Are the features game changing or just gimmicks? And would they ever go back to a gas powered car? Today, we're talking about boomers and autopilot, mastering the tech that makes life easier. So stick around to hear their first impressions, surprising discoveries, and the real talk on Tesla ownership. The launch series trim, the initial launch of the 2026 Model Y is the launch series trim, which includes full service driving capability, special badges, huddle lights, and upgraded wheels. Information on the 2026 Tesla Model Y refresh includes the following features. The cost is right at $60,000. It has a maximum range of 327 miles. It goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.1 seconds. It has full driving or full self-driving as a standard feature. The acceleration boost is standard. It has new front and rear light bars, and it has wraparound interior ambient lighting. These are my neighbors, Sue and Ed. They have recently bought this Tesla Model Y refresh. And I wanted to share their experience with you all regarding owning this particular vehicle and share the experience of being a boomer owning a Model Y. So my first question is, what made you choose Tesla over other EV brands?
The technology.
Okay, the technology. Okay,
I,
we'll talk about that.
I just wanted the technology. It didn't matter if it was electric or gas
Got it.
or diesel.
What was the biggest surprise when you first drove the Model Y?
For me, is I was more interested in the self-driving part of it.
How about you, Ed?
Simplicity. It's very easy to get used to.
Got it. Okay, thank you for. Now we'll move on to the charging and range. How was your first experience charging the car? Was it easier or harder than you expected?
It was easier than I expected. But
So,
we generally charge at home, but when we have used superchargers. When we pulled in, the car pulled in, backed into the parking space, and when it was done, unplug it and drive away.
thank you.
There's no credit cards involved, no payment involved. It's all done through. It recognizes the car and it bills the car.
Do you feel confident in the range and charging network for long trips?
Absolutely.
Have you noticed a big difference in cost compared to fueling a gas car?
This is about less than 1/3 of what gasoline would be.
Okay.
I have to estimate that because that car's diesel is a little more expensive, so it's probably about 1/4 of the cost of the diesel, but about 1/3 of what gasoline would be.
How do you feel about the touch screen? How do you feel about the touch screen controls compared to traditional buttons?
Touchscreen's way easier.
How so?
Everything is in one place. You don't have to reach from one side of the dash to the other. Everything is right at your fingertips. It's simple to change screens, which you don't really have to do, but everything is right there.
Got it.
And if an issue comes up, the screen will come up with that issue, so you can correct it very easily.
And you don't use the touch screen once you're driving, so it's not an issue of going through screens trying to find anything. So it's not really an issue for driving.
What's your favorite tech feature so far?
Changing the color inside. Changing it to dog mode when the dog and I are waiting for him when he's shopping, and so we're comfortable.
Yeah, the climate control is pretty amazing. You've got full range on all of the air conditioning, heating vents, air conditioned seats, and when you pull it up on the screen, you just touch the area of the car you want to have a little more airflow, and it automatically adjusts. So very, very comfortable. Well, and as with most new cars, I mean, once my profile is tied to my phone. So when I sit in the driver's seat, everything is adjusted automatically to where I like it. When Sue gets in the driver's seat, everything adjusts to her automatically. So the creature comforts are great.
Would you recommend Tesla to other first-time EV buyers?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're far above anybody else technology-wise.
There probably are some other ones that are more luxurious, but there's certainly nothing wrong with the comfort in this car. And the technology is what we bought it for.
What advice would you give to someone considering their first Tesla?
Take a test drive. They're free.
If Tesla offered you an upgrade or another model, would you stick with Tesla?
We've got the upgrade.
I think we've got the upgrade.
We researched it ahead of time, and so we have exactly.
But to answer that, if we were to buy a second car, it would probably be another Tesla.
Another
Even
Tesla.
if we keep this one, we wouldn't mind having a second one.
What was your reaction when you first used Tesla's Autopilot or full self-driving?
My first one was when I got behind him. I go, is he going to stop? Is he going to stop? Is he going to stop? And sure enough, he stopped. And then once I got past that, the more behind the wheel, I got more and more confident behind it. It was sort of like when you are driving with a teenager. You know the teenager can drive, but you don't trust him. And so then the more you're with them, you've got, oh wow, he can really do it. And it's a learning curve.
Well, I think because we had a family member that had a full self-driving car, and he let us drive around with him and then let us drive it the first time, we knew what to expect because he went over all the details in detail. So there wasn't a lot of concern of knowing what to do. It was just amazing how well the car responds and functions to the information it gets from the roadway.
So regarding the autopilot and the self-driving feature, did it feel unnatural or was it unsettling at first?
It was unsettling for a couple of minutes. I mean, because you're sitting in a car and all of a sudden it takes off, you're behind the wheel and you're not doing a thing. But the learning curve was very quick.
Got it. What about you, Sue?
I think at the very first time it was, oh my gosh, what is he doing? And then we got it, and we just kept getting more and more confident in his ability to know what he was doing. And he just got smarter and smarter, and we just got more confident in him really, really fast. And he kept showing us how smart he was on different things places we went with him. So it was really fast getting confidence in the car.
How does it compare to traditional driving, and do you trust the system?
It is a car. It's basically the rules of the road are the rules of the road. The car obeys them. It does. It's probably a much safer driver than I was. There's nothing. There's like no big aha moment. The car knows what to do. And the first time I drove full self-driving Tesla, I was with my brother-in-law, and he took me on the freeway. And then he got me to exit off the freeway, unbeknownst to me, onto a highway that was under construction. and it had flagmen and cones and people directing traffic. The car stopped what it was supposed to, followed the flagmen, obeyed all the speed limits. So I was pretty amazed right out of the chute. So I don't doubt its ability, but as with any technology, I've noticed it getting better in the few weeks we've had our car here. Some things are getting better.
Does self-driving make long trips more relaxing?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no stress in the drive. It's you have to pay attention, but paying attention, I find paying attention makes me more alert, because when I look at what the car is seeing on the screen, there's a lot more going on than what I would typically pay attention to. Usually when I drive, I just look at the car in front of me and kind of follow. This has got everything going on, and so your brain works a lot harder. So you get energized in your brain, but you're not having to anticipate the safety features.
How does it affect your confidence in Tesla's technology?
It has really skyrocketed our confidence in it. Just having him take us and make decisions. He makes really, really good decisions. When I've been behind the wheel, he knows how to calculate what is the best path from A to B. And he's done that going to get on the freeway. He knows if the people in the line is making good decisions, and he will make better decisions than the cars in front of us. He will turn on his blinker, and he will move and get us in really good positions. And he's always polite. He never cuts anybody off. When we're on the freeway and we have to go from A to B, he will go in and out of the lanes. He never cuts anybody off. And he'll notice that if there's a lane and it's for trucks only, he will not go into the truck lanes. But he makes really good decisions. He's never have us jerking around, to get into the different lanes. He's very precise, very calculating in his decisions. We've never had any near misses or anything like that. And that's my dog. Okay. And then what I think is interesting, people have tried to cut us off when they're being very, very rude. He never takes it personally. There's a dog going by and my dog knows it. Okay. He never takes it personally when somebody goes and cuts in front of us. He gives them space in front of us. He provides for that, which I think is just really, really nice. He makes allowances for other poor drivers. He never makes it unsafe for us. When it comes to a stop sign, he always makes a complete stop. He never runs yellow lights. He knows to calculates how long yellow lights are going to be. He always follows the rules. He makes sure that pedestrians have the right of way. He has got so much technology in him that he really has stepped up his game. And the reason why we call him a he is because they told us to give him a name, which we did. And so he's just part of the family now. But he makes such good decisions on the freeway, around streets. It's just the technology is just incredible what technology Tesla has put in him.
Safety seems to be the paramount rule. He stops at every stop sign, and if there's a stop sign and the limit line is another 5 feet beyond, he will stop at the stop sign, and then he will stop at the limit line, which in California, that's the legal way to stop. Doesn't roll through any stop signs. It's interesting because in busy intersections, some people don't like to stop that often.
Yeah, he's been flipped off and it doesn't bother him.
Regarding the technology, the self-driving, would you, or do you use it regularly, or just in specific situations?
I'll take that one. We have just shy of 1,000 miles on this car, and I've driven about 8 of them. So yeah, we use it all the time. I do notice the car adapts to the location, and it's learning things about our neighborhood and things. So That part is very encouraging.
Do you think self-driving is safe enough for everyday use?
Absolutely. I think it's safer than what we have, the people's driving skills.
How does the car handle unexpected situations like pedestrians or sudden stops?
It will see pedestrians, and it shows you on the screen. If whatever it sees on the screen, it's monitoring. So if there's an animal, if there's a pedestrian, it'll identify it, and it corrects safely to avoid causing any issues.
Mm-hmm.
It senses speed. It can recognize speed bumps. It slows down for speed bumps.
It's still learning, so if it makes a mistake, we take over and we correct it, and then the information is sent back to San Antonio, where they're working on it. Austin, and then it goes into their computer back there at Texas, and so we get the upgrades, which they send to our house on the internet, and it's still evolving.
Right now, I think it's excellent on city streets and highways. I haven't driven it on any like off-road trails or anything, but parking lots, it's better now than it was 2 weeks ago. But it's still learning parking lots. So
then you're going to say it's adaptive.
Oh yes, very much. It's constantly learning.
Got it.
And a lot of that is being addressed with the rollout of the robo-taxi fleet, because parking and getting people in and out of cars is a big part of that. So as that information is brought to the forefront, it automatically will be downloaded into our car. So.
Do you think all cars will be self-driving in the future?
I hope so.
People have a love affair with cars. There's cars out there that are 50, 60 years old. People love them. They're going to keep them. But I think the wave of the future will be self-driving cars. I suspect you won't even have car ownership. The car ownership will be reduced, because when you have an autonomous fleet of cars, it can just pick you up and take you where you want and drop you off. It's a way that a lot of people, especially younger people, are used to that. So self-driving is not going to be a big feature. I don't know why anybody would want to drive themselves other than just for nostalgia.
You have to give it an address.
How do you think this compares to the way you learned to drive years ago?
Well, when I learned to drive years ago, I didn't know how to drive, so I had to learn everything. This basically takes the rules of the road and already has it all built into the car. So it's the more confusing part is managing the technology. It's you have to be comfortable with a little bit of technology. You can operate an iPhone, you can drive this car.
And when you first bought the car, were you comfortable with this particular technology? And if not, how did you learn about it?
I was comfortable with the driving abilities. There were a few little quirks that caused me some concern. The biggest one, to use full self-driving, you have to give the car a destination. So you ask people, you read articles, you go on and look at the ad. It says you can push the microphone button and tell it where you want to go. What does that mean? It needs an address or some way to identify.
Yeah, the car can't read your mind. You can't say, "I want you to go shopping with me."
But
that was our biggest learning curve.
How to get that information in
make
there.
Sure the car knows where you want it to go. So when we go, we have a therapy dog, and when we have to go on a visit with her, once we put the address in it, we nailed it and we were good. But that was our biggest learning curve.
Okay, and then what about just operation of the car, learning to use the features and how to operate those features? How?
Just like using a computer.
Yeah, it's all on a touch screen, and if you want to do, there's various screen. Climate control is one. How the car handles, how tight you want the steering to be, how hard you want the brakes to be, how much over the speed limit can you regulate it for. You just set all those things, and it stays there, and you can change them if you want to.
Okay, and for other boomers considering this car but are scared of the technology, what recommendation would you give?
Take a test drive.
Take a test
Take a
drive.
test
And talk to people who have them. You know,
Yes.
don't be afraid to ask questions.
Now, does Tesla offer any help in terms of learning the technology or how to operate the car?
Yes and
Starting to
no.
have classes.
They're recognizing a need for people our age, and they do have some classes you go. They're not classes, but they have time set aside. You can go to a dealership and discuss various problems, and they walk you through, and that's very helpful. People who have been around Tesla for a while, and it's second nature to them. For newbies, yeah, just ask questions. They're very helpful. And you join the Tesla Club.
Have you done that yet?
I'm in the process.
But we did take a class. We went down there and we asked our questions and learned some stuff. Like it has different horns and how to pin drop to get directions. But we did do that when we found out about it.
Okay. Do you believe self-driving will eventually be better than human drivers?
Oh, it already
Absolutely.
is. It already is.
Yeah.
Much better than human
we,
driving.
we have people say, I'm just terrified of it. It's just, but you fly in an airplane. Airplanes don't land and take off with the pilot. That's all automated. They fly pretty. The pilot's just there in case there's an issue. The same with self-driving cars. The driver is there in case there's an issue.
If Tesla improves this feature, the self-driving, even more, would you rely on it completely?
Pretty much rely on it completely now. The things I can't do with it right now that I've been told I'll be able to in a month or two is it will not back itself out of the garage. Some people don't have a problem. We have small garages, and we got 2 cars in a small garage, so it identifies it as an unsafe space, because when you've only got a foot between you and the car, it needs more room. And when I back out of the driveway, it will back itself out to a point, or I can pull it in and it'll pull out forward. When it goes down the apron, it sees that street at an angle, and it's an obstacle. It doesn't know how to. It hasn't decided what to do with that yet. But all I do is drive through it, because you have it turned on, and when you take over and drive through it, it comes to say, what went wrong? And I just say, the car didn't recognize the apron connected to the asphalt. And if enough people have that issue, then they'll get the software in place to fix it.
Okay. I only have one other question. It's the bonus at the end. So is there anything else you guys would like to share regarding owning this Tesla Y refresh model, in particular for people who are in your age range that may be hesitant to buy it?
Yes. Okay. It will pick the best route to go somewhere. It may not be the route that you're used to driving somewhere.
And you'll learn all kinds of new stuff.
The thing is, you can't argue with it. It will take you the most efficient way somewhere.
But to some degree, you can override if you want.
Yeah, you can override it if you want to.
The neighborhood
And
this
that's
way,
fine.
and that way it's faster. You can just turn the signal on, and
Yeah,
it'll pick
and
it up when you
it will
come.
do that, and it will learn your way. But like if you're used to telling somebody where to go, you can't tell the car where to go, literally while you're driving. So that was very interesting to us.
Oh yeah, we went down to the ball stadium to buy tickets. So we go down midweek, so we can go up to the box office and pick our seats out. So I get on the freeway. I have it set for carpool lane and for toll roads, because there's toll roads between here and the stadium. So we got on the freeway and moved over into the carpool lane. The entrance for the toll road came up, and the car veered away from it. So I turned the signal on and directed the car back onto the toll road. It followed my directions. I got back on the toll road ramp, and then immediately went back out on the. And by then I had missed the on ramp to the toll road. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just fight the traffic. 30 miles, 31 minutes is what it took. Didn't have any traffic. So I thought, well, okay. Coming home, I just let the car go wherever it wanted to go to see what it would do. It immediately got on the freeway, right over into the toll road, and went down the toll road. And when we got about halfway home, the regular lanes were just gridlocked, and we flew right past them. So basically, the car knew there wasn't any traffic in the morning. So it said, don't spend $17 on a toll road. We'll get there just as fast in the regular. So it made that decision. I could have forced it to override, but I was really trying to see what it would do, and it made a good decision. So that part I liked. The other part, as far as people in our age group, we're in that mid-70s range. So sometimes my driving skills aren't as good as they used to be. Sometimes I don't perceive some things quite as good, which is one of the reasons that we went with the Tesla. Just a long story short, I suffered a stroke at the beginning of the year, and I wasn't sure how much driving I could really do. I've come a long ways, but this car has simply taken that concern away. Not only does it take that concern of driving away, it gives me so much more information. It's so much easier for me to pay attention to what's going on that I don't get confused about what the car's doing it, and I'm just so I feel much better. So
Good.
I think for people who are suffering from that brain fog or whatever you call it as we get older, this is a way to cut right through that.
If you had to use one word to describe your Tesla experience, what would it be?
It's very magical.
Very magical is what you're saying.
Okay, it's magical.
Okay. How about you, Ed? One word to describe your Tesla experience.
It's great. I can't say enough good stuff about it.
The fact is that when there's upgrades like that, it comes to our house.
It goes right
And
to the car.
it goes to the car from our house. We don't have to take it to a dealership. Everything is done at our house. And so I think that saves a lot of money, not having to deal with a dealership.
Come in.
We did have a service because of the glove box, and it was a simple thing. Up until this year, the cars all use a certain strength battery on their glove box as to open and close. This year they put a stronger motor in the glove box, but they didn't provide stronger batteries right out of the gate. So after they got notified, so everything came out. But they came here and just pulled the car out, put a new battery in it, no charge, and it was all done. So, but most of your servicing can be done right at home, which I like. But it's if you have service you want done, you have an app on your phone. It says Tesla, push the button, service, push the button, and it says, what do you want? And you say, I got a rattle, I got a noise, I got something I don't know about, and they'll ask you if you want to bring it in for service or have a technician come to the house, and they schedule you an appointment. It's done. It's very simple. So those of you who see this and think Barbara's doing a good job, the follow-up should be, Barbara, let's get in the car and you drive it and I'll film you. And you can tell
Yes,
them
that's
you
what
think.
we want to do. We want Barbara to drive him. Barbara to drive him.
Guys, I don't know if that's going to happen. Stay tuned for that one.